I have many reasons to scream my head off. I've put 26 of them here, and they're not necessarily in order. So I tried at the beginning to put them in order, but quickly I found that there's so many reasons that it's hard to do it in one thing and put it in order. Okay? And I have a lot going on, so I didn't want to take the time to order them in terms of importance. Number one, God is love and people are killing love. When you let people tell you how to relate to people, quote unquote, romantically, right? Gender relations, social relations, race relations, right? Relationships, okay? And they're not emphasizing the martial art order, the intense conveyance of true love, which is hinted at in the movies, right? With these action movies, right? Action hero-based movies. Then you're killing love. You're breeding toward killing love. They're breeding this culture that kills love and redefines human relations in terms of corporate-sponsored social norms. So God is love and people are killing love. That by itself will make someone who's righteous like me, who hones righteous indignation, which is a superior way to live your life. When you really, I shouldn't have to explain that, right? That when you think about it, you know that I'm right. You work the angles, okay? So God is love and people are killing love. That by itself is enough reason to scream my head off every day, all day. Number two, I'm shunned by attractive women. Going back to what I said in the stigma on white skin, people in white skin culture video, right? Why is this happening? Okay, this is by design. People are allowed to look good. They're allowed to have the money they have and so on and so forth by various corporations and entities that have corporate networks and corporate partnerships. So when you factor everything in from a sociological perspective, when you're being honest, you see that people are allowed to look attractive. You can be blacklisted. People can yell about, you'll never have a job in this town, and they can be right about it. Okay? So you're shunned by these evil, attractive women who have been allowed to look good because they're evil. Okay. Number three, I'm cheated out of my rightful place. Okay? And at one point I offered $100,000 in my 4-year, $4,000 challenge. Now some people play stupid about this. This is all this would entail, which includes people playing stupid, right? Even though we have the word apparent, alpha parent. My dad is from a martial arts African Igbo family. Nigeria is the most populated and the most martial arts prone of the African countries in terms of fighting war arts, which are really the true source of martial arts, spirituality and fighting applications for weapons-based war. And I'm not talking about guns and technology, spears, knives, swords, machetes, cutlass, right? No, without armor, right? Martial arts, right? War arts, okay? It's apparent, okay? Heros means master. Who else, what other quote-unquote martial artist, right? Because these other people are pretty much fake martial artists. Have you seen made this great push to tell the truth, to organize things, to dedicate their life to the principles of righteousness? No, they're dedicated to conformity to corporate-sponsored social norms and sitting there twiddling their thumbs while transhumanism, okay, cyborgism, if you will, merging the brain with computers is going to kill their intangible heritage of their art. So not only are they denying me my rightful place, but they're denying the founders of their systems who seem to have denied the Pharaoh of Egypt in the African royal martial arts families their rightful places, their continuity, because they're moving toward transhumanism and integrated martial sciences and eugenics and even pills and new gym equipment, which kills their art in its true form. Okay? And number four, 60 million plus preventable deaths a year. I would argue, how can you be human without being extremely disturbed by this and it occupying your thoughts in some form or fashion every day? There's 60 million people dying of preventable deaths because of cultural values, because of greedy scum as they wage war on other people, whether they're terrorists or not. To be diplomatic, based on those cultural values, you're defending your right to spearhead the cause of 60 million preventable deaths a year. That is sick. Number five, rape by illusion, misdirection, substances and materials, and trickery in society. Rape being not effectively addressed is bad enough. but pretty much all sex out of the divine order is rape when you work the angles. Trickery, trick, ear, why. Who are you listening to about who you should date? Are you listening to yourself after you've been thoroughly conditioned? Are you listening to, psychologists, religious people who work on behalf of the eugenic state? Who are you listening to and why? Why don't you understand the importance of the martial art argument? Why don't you understand that if you don't develop a state of mind where you're ready to sacrifice everything and everyone for the principles of righteousness, that you're a part of Babylon's system? You think they're twiddling their thumbs and not knowing that because you're not willing to sacrifice your family, that they can leverage that against you? You think that doesn't occur to them? That's insane. You're tricked by magic card tricks, okay? And you think that you escape psychological warfare and the subtle direction of your unconscious. It's insane. Okay? It's insane that people don't see how serious this is, and how that every day that goes by, every moment that goes by, you're closer to an even more effective mind control state when they already have people, every attractive woman shunning the top martial artist. How fucking disturbing is that? Number 6, mental health, big pharmaceuticals, and eugenics. Well, every attractive woman, but perhaps one who is suffering from cerebral palsy. Okay, so to me, she's attractive, she's decent, but it's not fair to put her in this situation because she's suffering from this developmental disorder. Anyway, number 7, 17 witnesses, no justice, abuse of authority, and group stalking. Right? Imagine you have 17 witnesses to group harassment. Let's say the Klan was harassing you, and they've taken over the government, which is not exactly what's going on, but there's a degree of that. Okay, and they're harassing you using technology and all this. You have 17 witnesses. Okay. Everybody's acting like a bitch in the most populated state in one of the most populated countries in the world. Think about how frustrating that is. Okay, and people are abusing their authority. There's groups of people harassing you. There's hundreds of people harassing me every day when I go out. Right, they're driving by. They're subtly gang stalking me. They're shining their lights on me. They're doing obvious things that set them out from the crowd. And keep in mind, I'm not the top martial artist because I don't get it. I am the top martial artist because I do. Okay? I see things other people don't see. Insight, right? The Horus, son of Ra, sight. Number 8, covert drugging and they might even take me out of context there and pretend like I made a confession or something. This is the kind of ninnies I'm dealing with. And just that thought by itself, and you know that it's a reasonable thought to have, can make you want to scream your head off. Okay? Think about it. There's tons of reasons why it's insane to think I have a mental illness. There's an overwhelming amount of solid facts as to why I should be acting very upset every single day. Number 8, covert drugging, provocation, fuming, and chemical castration. Imagine you're the symbol of true masculinity, and they're chemically castrating you, fuming you, covertly drugging you, and provoking you to take away from you proving your point. Not to mention the effects these things have. The other effects. Number 9, occultism, racism, gays, and undesirable females trying to prey on me. People notice when a handsome guy can't get a date, and they try to take advantage. It's kind of like the prison gay effect, right? These guys in prison, one way or another, prey on these guys who can't get any hot chicks because they're in prison. So basically, I'm in this kind of mental prison as a result of attractive women being bred to be utter scum, cowardly, insensitive, right? Lacking heart, lacking vision, lacking wisdom. Okay, so I suffer. And unattractive women and undesirable females and gays and so on and trannies try to prey on me, cross-dressers, catfish on the internet. Not a small problem, believe me. Some of you are gay and you're like, so what? Don't judge by this anyway. That's you. That's you. This is me. Moving on. Number 10, car problems. Living in the middle of nowhere. Okay, car problems that sabotage, organized sabotage, psychological operations, propaganda campaigns like Mickey Mouse, and the Nazi propaganda in the cartoons and the comics and so on. This evolved into Captain America and all these fake heroes we have, and the ideas that they're referring to being complicity with Babylon's system and not true heroism in the divine martial art order. Moving on. 11, food, right? Because they drug my food, yesterday I spent like $100 and something on food because they drug my food. And so I have to pour out stuff. I have to throw food away. Okay? It's no small problem. I could go grab some stuff that proves my point. Like these bag of chips I had forever, they're drugged. I gotta throw them out. This water that I brush my teeth with because the water here is bad because of the well. Long story. I'm gonna have to pour most of this out. I can't even brush my teeth with it. All right, we'll get to that. Number 12, financial sabotage of my family. Imagine having a brain surgeon father, and they're financially sabotaging them so they can pretend their races are superior. Right? Race is plural. Okay, so they can hold this illusion construct where black people are the least intelligent group of people, right? That's why they're doing it. Okay, even though he had more obstacles and came here speaking English as like a sixth language or something without a penny in Detroit. When Detroit was the race riot capital, it was the murder capital, and they're having race riots. He came there without a penny. He worked his way up to being a brain surgeon. Okay, Royal Martial Arts family, one of the top students, if not the top student in Nigeria at the time. They brought him here. Okay. Boom. Okay, he did that. Outmaneuvered them masterfully while everyone else was sucking goat dick. Eventually things came to a head and they said, we're going to have to control you more. By then I was already raised to a certain point and this thing continued. This is why I'm the exception to the rule, why everyone else is pretty much bred to be evil. Okay. So that's a hard pill to swallow, but go ahead. I would love to hear your viable counter-argument. That's an important point. If you think you know better than me about it, or excuse me, if you're right for whatever reason about it, please state your argument in the comments. I would love to hear the viable counter-argument to breeding. Right? It's right there in the word. Bred. Be red. Red. The principle of evil. The color of the devil. Right? Reproduction. Prediction, and so on. And ray, prediction. Right? Through reproduction, we can predict. Right? And that goes back to a parent. Right? It's a parent. That goes back to the saying, son of a bitch, and the idea of eugenics and so on and so forth, and breeding racehorses and dogs and all kinds of reasons why I'm right. Nature, nurture argument and so on. Anyway, number 13, alcohol, weed, drug too much for me to do these things. I can't smoke weed or drink because they've drugged them so much that if I do, I'll be very sick and head throbbing and all this. 14, clothes, style, lifestyle. There's no clothes that truly allow me to express myself. This is fairly close because of the color scheme. These glasses are the ones I have to wear. They have a black frame, which confuse people about my perspective. My color is pure yellow with some blue and some white, only to represent the horse as the sky god. But really the pure sun spirit is my pure perspective. I'm not lying about anything to make myself look good or smooth things over, to make a happy environment. No, I'm bringing the true message of God. Moving on. So 15, Facebook banning and losing accounts. More frustrating than you might think. 16, the frustrations that are common to all people with the system by themselves. Number 17, 4 family members killed, some killed with plausible deniability. Since I started really talking about this thing effectively, 3 of these family members have been killed, and since I started, trying to reproduce, right, 1 family member was killed. So, in the last 10 years, 3 family members have been killed, some with plausible deniability. And, you can figure out why that is, right? Coercion, kind of trying to get me to stop, saying you better stop it. It goes back to my argument, right? You can't even tell the truth if you're not willing to sacrifice your family and everything else for the true spirit of God. If you're not willing to do that, you are evil. That's all there is to it, right? You have bowed down to evil and accepted evil's control of your reproductive cycle. How could you be good? I'd love to hear the viable counter-argument for that. Number 18, especially at this point in history, right, when you factor everything in, right, almost out of time, so let's shoot through this. 18, eye problems. 19, backbone problems from drugging, psych meds. 20, I can't do martial arts anymore because of what they're doing. 20, I can't work out effectively as well. 21, people playing stupid, gaslighting, ignoring me. 22, my nose is leaking sometimes in videos in public, right? And I'm like, fuck. And I can't review my videos because of the eye problems and the ear problems, right? It hurts my ears and causes my eyes to start seeing spots and so on and so forth if I watch videos or even put the screen down and hear it, right? That's how much they're using the smartphone to launch the psychological warfare campaign. 23, chemicals on things I touch. That's no ho right there. 24, shower trouble, right? It causes trouble with the shower. 25, drugged up toothpaste. They're trying to make it so I can't brush my teeth. My teeth look yellow. 26, sabotage shoes, wrist wraps, argumentative family. They spray. A lot of these books, when I open them up, it has some powder that goes in my face that messes me